Hey everyone, hope all is well. Last week I was flown out to New York City to attend an event called Goodpitch, and it left me feeling so energised and inspired about life and my direction in it. And so in today's video, I just wanted to give an update about everything that happened. The trip was made possible by a non-profit organisation called BritDoc, who I've had the pleasure of becoming really good friends with over the past few years. They support the creation and distribution of documentaries around the world with the aim to educate and help create social change. I know what you're thinking. This sounds like the sort of thing Myles would like. Too damn right it is. Back in 2013, they gave me the privilege of interviewing Jeremy Scahill about his film Dirty Wars, which was a huge turning point in my life when he gave some powerful advice about becoming your own journalist. And then a year later, they let me help out with the promotion of the Snowden documentary Citizen4. And so, one of the amazing things BritDoc works on is this event called Goodpitch, and it is unlike anything I've ever experienced before. The way this event works is you have several documentaries that are currently in production being pitched by the filmmakers to an audience consisting of philanthropists, NGOs, campaigners, policymakers, etc. They then sit at a round table to discuss it with supporters of the cause and other organisations that may be able to help. And because the event is not live stream or video recorded, there is a real magic in the room, a sense that if you want to help, now is the time to do it, this is the moment. And so they have 2 microphones set up, meaning that anyone in the room at any time can step forward and say, hey, I really want to help you with this, whether that be financially or with resources. To be in a room with so many passionate people and incredible stories, it was a very moving event. I cried on many occasions. And just to give you some examples of the documentaries that were pitched, one was called Dark Money, which is about a grassroots effort in Montana that aims to fix the US campaign finance system. And Councilwoman, about a Dominican hotel housekeeper who won a seat for Rhode Island City Council, trying to represent her community and bring their voice into the political system. I met so many amazing human beings at this event, including award-winning journalist Nancy Kusangira, who was moderating the event, Tara Huska, director of Honor the Earth, and a leading activist at Standing Rock against the North Dakota Access Pipeline. And Ilhan Omar, who recently was elected in Minnesota to the House of Representatives as the first Somali American to hold public office in the US. As the event came to a close, a group of us then headed across the city to a rally being held in support of Standing Rock. Being someone who lives an ocean away, it was wonderful to be able to spend some time in person alongside American brothers and sisters who feel the same way as I do about this terrible event taking place in North Dakota. Throughout my trip, I got to speak to so many people on the streets about current world events and the US political system. It allowed me to have this direct sense of the pain so many Americans were feeling, but it also allowed me to appreciate the comfort that they took from hearing an outsider showing solidarity. Even to the point that BuzzFeed News wanted me to explain why I felt the need to come out in support of a campaign that is so far from my home. I was only in New York for 3 days, but looking back, I definitely made the most of it. It was a hectic start though. I mean, my post-US election video, I finished exporting that 5 minutes before I had to leave this house and head to the airport on just 1 hour of sleep. I stayed at Yotel Manhattan, which was super funky. It had a freaking robot take care of my luggage. I mean, look at that! It was just a couple of blocks away from Times Square and just around the corner from a street with a familiar name. Upon my arrival, I met up with my friend Jen and we took a trip down to Trump Towers, which was an interesting visit. And because I didn't have data roaming, Jen was kind enough to let me tether from her phone that allowed me to do a bit of live streaming and complete the all-important task of catching the US region Pokemon Tauros. Thank you, Jen. Then on my first full day in New York City, I remembered that Bernie Sanders was going to be on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, but I couldn't remember when. So I looked it up and I realised it was that evening. So after my evening meeting with BritDoc, I headed down to The Late Show and waited by the stage exit doors. There weren't that many people about. I saw a photographer who didn't seem that chatty, so I just left him to it. And then a couple of people came over asking if anyone had come out yet. And I was like, I'm waiting for Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders. Yeah. He just waved and got in his car and left. I was gutted. I thought this is probably his last stop in New York City. So I chatted to the people for a bit. And then the lady off the cuff said, I think he's got a book signing tonight. I'm sorry, you said what? Yeah, he's got a book signing. Hey, why don't you look it up on your phone for him? And I stood there for 10 minutes with this guy as his phone failed to load up any web pages, and I was like, please tell me. In the end, we went our own ways. I got to a Starbucks, got on the internet, searched lots of different pages, and finally found out Barnes & Noble, New York City, book launch for Our Revolution. That's it. Taxi! Arrived at Barnes & Noble at 6 o'clock. The event was at 7:30. There was a queue of about 100 people. Sorry, not queue, line as you say in America. I fell into that trap plenty of times that day. And I thought, this isn't too bad, until security came over and said, sorry sir, this isn't the line. This is the line. And it went all the way around the block. It was huge. So I walked all the way to the end of the line where I said, hey, is this the end? And they went, yeah, but you need a wristband. And I was told that you got the wristband when you bought the signed book earlier in the day. So I went all the way to the front of the line again, into Barnes & Noble, to the customer service desk. Hey, how's it going? I'm from London, England. I didn't know about this until very recently. Is there any way I could get a wristband for tonight's event? And they politely said, sorry sir, you only got the wristband when you bought the book and we've sold out. As I left Barnes & Noble, I thought, this is probably as far as I'm going to get. At least I tried though. And as I started walking down the street past the massive line, I thought, you know what? Before I go, let me record this line with my phone and post it online to show what an amazing turnout this has been. And so I did. I went to the very top of the line, got my phone out, and I began walking. And as I got about halfway round, some people started cheering because they saw they were on camera. And I thought, well, this is my chance to show a bit of solidarity.
Bernie Sanders has supporters in London, England, by the way. Revolution is global. And I can't get in. I wasn't here before, so I couldn't get a book. So if anyone has a spare one. No?
Come on, isn't that what socialism is all about? And they laughed some more. And I left it there. And so I continue and eventually get to the end of the line. Put my phone in my pocket and think for the nth time, yeah, it's time to go home. I turn around and there in front of me is a girl who said, excuse me, were you the guy who had the camera? Yeah. Oh, cool. One of our friends couldn't make it and had a spare wristband if you want it. You have got to be kidding me. So she walked me halfway up the line to her friends. It was Donna and Vanessa, who I want to give a huge shout out to. I was so grateful. And strangely enough, one of them recognised me from a Bernie Sanders video I made earlier this year, except then I had longer hair, but I had the British accent, of course. But wait, it doesn't end there. This wristband was one of those paper ones you get at festivals, and it was already done up, so I had to squeeze it over my hand. A very tense situation, literally speaking as well as figuratively. And as it slowly went over, it broke. Everyone gasped around me. It was horrible. At this moment in time, it felt like the universe was doing everything it could do for course correction. No, Myles, you're going to meet Bernie Sanders, so we're going to fix this. So Donna and Vanessa, being the lovely people that they are, said, I think there's a Staples about 6 blocks away. I ran. I got there just before it closed. And because everything is so cheap in America, instead of making you pay less, they make you have to buy more. So I got a couple of glue sticks, fixed it back up, got back in line, and yeah, I got to meet Bernie Sanders. As I approached Bernie Sanders in the line, it became clear how little time I had to speak to him. So I thought, what am I going to say? Okay, I got it. Hey Bernie, how you doing? My name's Myles and I'm from London, England, and I've been campaigning for you non-stop the past 2 years because this political revolution is a global one. And you know what he said? Damn right it is. I couldn't have been happier with the photo I got with this man. It symbolises so much. And what was most amazing about it was when I posted it on Facebook, I got messages and comments from people I've not heard from in years, from all walks of life, who clearly knew how much this moment meant to me, and they knew about all the effort that I put into my activism. And so I was so humbled by it all. And as I left and went round the corner of some bookshelves, there was a crowd of people around Jane Sanders, who I managed to make eye contact with. And as the staff there were trying to usher us around, I said, please let me speak to you. I'm from London, England. I mean, it's quite a good thing to use when you're out in America. London, England seems to be a real winner. And I ended up having an amazing conversation with her where I discussed the need for having a transatlantic progressive movement, and that if there is anything I could do to help our revolution from my side of the Atlantic, to get in touch. And so I gave her my details, and We'll just have to wait and see. And for those of you wondering why Bernie Sanders means so much to me, this goes beyond politics. It doesn't matter if you agree with what he stands for solutions-wise, but he is someone who has managed to rally millions of people and awaken them to a political system that is not working like it should be. I'm someone who likes to use my platform to educate people about value systems and the need for global empathy. And he is a leader that has managed to achieve so much, and he gives me hope that if I stick to my values, in the long run, it will hopefully pay off. And so, yeah, I left Barnes & Noble with the biggest smile on my face. And even thinking about it now, I can't believe it happened after all of those chances of me just going home and giving up. I didn't give up. This NYC trip has been awe-inspiring and an especially important episode in my life because the past 3 years, I've gone through some serious recovery with my mental health and well-being, trying to feel like myself again. And so, returning after many years to a country I absolutely adore, attending an amazing event about social change, being persistent in an attempt to meet a hero of mine, standing shoulder to shoulder with fellow activists, and meeting internet friends. This all feels very Myles-esque to me. And so I left feeling so inspired and happy with life. So from the bottom of my heart, a huge thank you to BritDoc for this invitation, and especially Jess Search, who has done so much for me over the years, given me some amazing opportunities that have really helped shape the person that I am today. They say that home is where the heart is, and over those 3 days, that definitely felt like home. On my final day, I managed to get my hands on some epic New York pizza, get as close as I could to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, visited Grand Central Station for the first time, and just walked around and explored the city. I found myself wandering a bit off course when trying to get back to the hotel, and when I looked around, I realised I was standing outside Barnes & Noble again. It must have been another sign, because when I went through the doors, there in front of me was a copy of Bernie Sanders' Our Revolution. Which has been an amazing read. And as if the trip couldn't get any better, on the flight home, I looked to my right and there were 3 empty seats. I turned it into a bed. And when asking for some wine to help me sleep, they gave me 2 bottles. So I actually slept 5 hours, which is unlike me. I can never sleep on flights. It was really good. And while I was away, my post-US election video had done really well, and I had over 15 new people become patrons. So thank you so much. And my YouTube channel, for the first month since I've started making regular content again, has had a net gain in subscribers. Woo! It all seems to be going so well, like this great sense of momentum. I just feel grateful. I'm very lucky, and although it's been a very difficult time in my life, this feels like a sign that if I run with this momentum, many more great things are going to occur. So thank you so much for all the support you have given me, because whether you are just a viewer, sharing my video content, or becoming a patron, all of that helps me, and it's because of you I'm able to have experiences like this. Forgive me if this update video turns out to be a long one, but what can I say? There were a lot of good things to talk about. And if this does happen to be your first ever video of mine, hello? Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel and like my Facebook page because I upload new videos every week. I am just so full of love, inspiration and energy right now. So thank you. You are such lovely people. And I guess I will see you next week. Adios till next time.